What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today we are going to be talking about probably the second most asked question that I get after how do I lose weight, and that is going to be how to break through or not encounter a weight loss plateau. Now, before we get into the topic of the video, I do want to remind you guys that I do have a podcast called Work for Change that I do with my brother. This week's episode, that's actually going to be coming out the same day of this video, was actually probably one of the best interviews we had. We interviewed actually my friend. He goes to our gym. His name is Daniel, and he's lost over 100 pounds. So if you're, interested in this topic, I really think you'll be interested in that video, in that podcast. I will link down below the iTunes link as well as the YouTube link because we do film all of the podcasts as well. It's a really good conversation, having a really deep conversation with someone that has lost a lot of weight and finding out how they lost it, why they lost it, getting down to the nitty-gritty. So it's a really good episode, so I highly recommend checking that out. Again, all of the links will be down in the description below. So what is a weight loss plateau? So the way I classify a plateau is that you are on a weight loss journey, you're trying to lose weight, and you've been doing well for any period of time. You're losing some weight every single week, and then you hit a sticking point where it seems like no matter what you do, you're no longer able to lose any more weight, and you feel like you're kind of just spinning your wheels in the mud. So today, hopefully this video will help you either realize maybe you're not in a plateau, or hopefully help you get out of that plateau. So for me, the reason I think plateaus happen is that when we are trying to lose weight, we're trying to get into a calorie deficit. That is going to happen in a bunch of different ways. Everyone's going to have a different way to get into that deficit. But a lot of times while we are losing weight, we end up no longer being in a deficit. So now our energy balance is normal. Our calories in, calories out are very, very similar. So we no longer are seeing any noticeable progress, maybe even in the mirror, maybe on the scale. We're no longer seeing that quick progress anymore. So I think that is what classifies a plateau. Before we get into breaking through a plateau, I want to talk about how to avoid them in the beginning, because I do think that there is a way that if you are smart with your nutrition, you're smart with your exercise, you're smart with how you are losing the weight, you can hopefully avoid them. And I think that should be the goal for most people. I think one of the biggest reasons that people hit plateaus is because when they are starting their weight loss journey, they go from 0 to 100. So they are eating the typical American diet, typical Western diet. They're just eating complete garbage, right? You're not really focused on your calories. You're not focused on anything. You're just eating whatever you want. And then you go and you decide, I'm going to do this crazy diet that only has me eating 1,200 calories and super clean foods and everything's perfect. And I'm going to be completely on it. And you will definitely see results for a little bit. But when that is your step one, once you do hit a plateau, you don't really have anywhere to go from there. So that's why I'm always encouraging people to start slowly. You can always ramp things up, but if you start at 100, when you do hit that plateau, you don't have anywhere to go from there. Now, mentally, plateaus can be really difficult to deal with. The first thing I want to say is that if you are somebody that is trying to lose a significant amount of weight, 100, 200 pounds, your weight loss is going to be happening very quickly at the start. That's just kind of how it works. You're going to be losing a lot of water weight. So it might be normal for you to see, 5 pounds lost in a week. So what I always tell people when I'm helping them lose weight is understand that these first couple of weeks are not going to be good examples of how the rest of your weight loss is going to go. The closer you get to that goal weight or to that end weight, whatever that might be, right? The more weight you lose, the slower it's going to come off. That is a very normal thing that people deal with. So don't feel like you're hitting a plateau just because you're losing only a pound in a week. That's still a pound. Like, that's not a plateau. You are still trending downward, and that is exactly what you should be doing. Another tip is to realize that you might not even be in one. A lot of people, they get so hyper focused on their weight when we're trying to lose weight, which I really don't think is a smart idea, but we get so hyper focused on our weight that if we don't see, you losing a pound or 2 pounds in a week, you feel like you're hitting a plateau. I think it's very smart to be patient and realize, one, this is a lifetime journey that you're going to be on. So just because you didn't lose weight in a single week, which it might not even be true, you might have lost weight, but maybe you ate more sodium. There's so many things that go into play of just weight that you need to realize that maybe you're not even in a plateau. You're just not seeing the number on the scale go down. And those are two very different things. And that goes straight into my other point, is to definitely be using other ways to track progress other than just the scale. I don't think the scale is an evil demon that we should all avoid. but at the same time, it is not the end all be all to your weight loss progress. There are so many other ways to track your progress that might be based on how you feel, based on how you look. Some people like to use measurements. I never really did that, but some people really like that. There are other ways to see whether or not you are in a deficit, whether or not you are actually losing weight, you are, improving your health. There are so many other ways to track that other than just the scale. So it's very important not to be putting all your eggs in the scale basket. Now, with all that being said, you might actually be in a plateau, right? You might have done all of those things. You're like, no, it's been 2 months and I have not lost any weight. I'm doing everything that I was doing before. I don't understand what's going on. So let's talk about how to actually get through a plateau once you have realized, oh, no, I am at a plateau and this is something that I want to get past. One of the first things you can do is maybe change up your routine. If you are at a plateau and maybe you haven't been tracking calories up to this point, maybe you haven't been tracking certain things, then it might be a good time to start doing that, right? To ramp up some things a little bit more, because again, when you are first starting to lose weight, the more weight you have to lose, the smaller changes that you can make, you're going to see a big result. But once you get down to the, maybe 20 last 30 pounds that you're trying to lose, you're going to have to be a little bit more meticulous. You're going to maybe have to start tracking your food. So that might be something that you want to do. Another very, very important thing is to realize that you might need less calories now than you did when you first started maybe tracking your calories. Because a lot of people, we start tracking our calories and we are at 300 pounds and we realize, oh, I can lose weight on, 2,800 calories, which is totally fine. And that's very normal for a lot of people. But once you lose 50 pounds, that 28 calories is probably going to be too much. Your body isn't going to need that much food because you don't have as much mass anymore. So it's very important to be aware that your calories might have to drop a little bit. Now I'm saying a little bit. I'm not saying you need to drop them 1,000 calories, but you need to maybe drop them a little bit because your body is becoming more efficient at using those calories. One of the things I've noticed with people that do lose a lot of weight, myself included, is that you start to almost believe that it's owed to you, and you just get so used to losing weight that maybe you're not being as strict as you maybe were before. So maybe you're adding a little bit more oil, maybe you're adding a little bit more cheese, maybe you're just not being as as smart with your choices, and so you actually are eating a little bit more calories than you were in the past. So that's a really important thing, is to stay honest and stay vigilant with yourself, because it's so easy to want to be like, well, I've lost so much weight, and that's great. And if you've gotten to a point where you don't feel like you need to lose weight anymore, like that's where I'm at right now, right? I can be a little bit more lax. But if it's a goal of yours to continue that weight loss, very, very important to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I am adding a little bit more extra here or there, and that's, equating to me being no longer in a deficit. Another thing that can be really helpful in a plateau is increasing your energy output. Now, we talk a lot about decreasing the energy input, the food that you're shoving into your mouth, but one of the things that's important is about increasing that energy output. Now, I'm not saying you need to be doing 2-a-days in the gym. This can be maybe going on walks throughout the day. If you're working a desk job and you're only getting like 3,000 steps in a day, trying to increase that to 7,000 steps maybe, or even less, 5,000 at the start, just to increase that output a little bit. Something that people talk about is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and this can actually add to a lot of calories that you're burning throughout the day. So these are calories that you're burning that aren't related to, going on a run or going to the gym, working out. These are the calories that you're burning just through maybe your job or through going on walks. So increasing that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT, can be very, very helpful if you feel like you're hitting a plateau and you don't want to lower the calories anymore, which is totally fine. We don't want to be at 1,000 calories trying to lose weight, because that's not sustainable. So the more sustainable choice might be to increase that energy output. Now, I actually put on Twitter that I was going to be making this video, and I asked if anyone had things that they wanted to make sure that maybe I said in this video, and this tweet right here is probably at least 80% of what people are going through a plateau, what they're actually dealing with. So the tweet says, being really honest with yourself about what you're actually eating. I spent a long time moaning that I just couldn't get the weight to move, when 100% honesty in my food logging showed I wasn't ever in a calorie deficit. My plateau wasn't really a plateau at all. And like I said, that is probably going to be what most people are dealing with. Now, it's definitely a hard pill to swallow, but I do think that that's usually the case. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I dealt with it. I dealt with a plateau, and I was really frustrated. I didn't understand why. But then once I really took a step back and looked at myself, looked at what my habits were, what I was actually doing, I realized that maybe I wasn't being completely honest with myself. And being honest with yourself is very difficult, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what it takes sometimes when you are, you know, at the final stages of your weight loss. So there you guys go. That is the video. I really hope that it helped you guys out. I would love to hear if you guys have dealt with the plateau, or if maybe I missed some stuff. If you guys can leave a comment down in the comment section down below. I really appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There's one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.